Okay, this is it. This is gonna be the last video I do on the Halo series, I promise. No more after this. I'm so sick of this show, and this is it. I'm absolutely done. I really just wanted to, like, bring out all my feelings about watching the whole show as a whole. Not really, like, a breakdown of every episode again. I already did that, sorta. I like summarized each episode and like all the problems that were in there. Of course, I like missed stuff though. There's just so much stupid shit in this show that I can possibly have found out all of them or named all of them in those like reviews I did, but I just wanted to really vent about my feelings, and I really wanted to talk about how I believe this show to be malicious in its intent to Halo fans and just general fans of like entertainment and shows in general. And let me just start there and explain this, okay? So yes, I believe the showrunners are malicious, right? This is evident throughout just watching this show as a whole. Like, it has almost nothing to do with Halo except for the fact that the show itself picks out things from like the game, the Halo game, and like inserts it into their own like weird sci-fi amalgamation of bullshit. Right, so you'll see stuff. You'll see the elites. They'll pick those out. You'll see the battle rifles. You'll see the warthogs. You'll see Master Chief. And but that's it. It's all they'll mention other characters too. Like they'll mention Halsey. They'll mention the Forerunners. They didn't even mention the Flood, but they'll do that. And it's all very like surface level bullshit. It's just they're just taking things from the game and using their own story, but they're taking things from this IP and then inserting them into their own story, which is like way worse than what Halo is, because it's just ridiculous, right? Now I believe this to be malicious because if I knew nothing about Halo and I watched this show, I'd be still like bored out of my mind. It didn't matter that this was the Halo IP because I was still bored watching it. It was still terrible. This is why I think it's malicious. 'Cause it's basically they're just using the Halo IP to sucker Halo fans in and people that may know about Halo to watch the show, and it's ridiculous. I believe this show is universally hated for that, and that's why I think it's malicious in its intent, just to like make money or get views. And I hate it. I hate that so much, and I feel bad. I really do. I feel bad for like um Halo fans, like really like deep into the lore of Halo. They know everything about Halo. They're fans. They know everything. They love the IP. And I feel bad for you because this show isn't Halo at all. It's disrespect to everything about the games, basically. Um, that's like another thing also. The we can well, I want to like get down to like brass. I don't want to get down to like brass tacks about like plot stuff. I think I'm gonna have to, and like especially like talk about um the like OC of the show, other than John, who is not Master Chief, but he is, but I don't call him that. But the Chinese girl, Quan, okay, it's it's really weird because when you're watching like the first episode, you think like she's gonna be like a big part of the story, but like at least John's like a plot. She's not though. John drops her off at like whatever planet, whatever he drops her off to, just to get rid of her. Even though, what's the point? You save her just to leave her at this place. You don't really care about her. This other stupid shit. Anyway, it's just funny because then she goes on her own B plot that has nothing to do with what John and Halsey and the Spartans and the USNC are dealing with. It's completely different. It's also not finished. Her entire arc is it stops at episode 8, or 7 or whatever. And that's it. It doesn't really finish. We still don't know what's happening with her after that. It's crazy. Why was she in the show? It was really just to like fill in time. I think that's why. It's just to fill time in because they couldn't. Maybe they didn't have the budget or the money or the talent to make something compelling with all the other USNC plot, whatever. It's really annoying. There's another thing about the show. It is extremely boring for a show about Halo. It is so boring. Oh, do you remember those like little OVA shorts a while ago? Those like live action shorts on Halo we had that were way more interesting, and it was way more fun to watch than this shit. Like I shit you not, this show was so boring. After the first episode, I was nodding out. I was literally nodding out. I was falling asleep watching the show. It came to the point where I was sitting on my chair. I was like, okay, I fell asleep. I woke up. It's been 10 minutes. Are you shitting me? I gotta go back. I gotta go back and look at what happened. I don't want to do that. I'd waste more time watching this show. It came to the point I couldn't sit down watching it. I'm like sitting on my chair watching the show. I can't. I literally have to stand up. Otherwise I'm gonna fucking fall asleep. Like I just fucking shot myself with a with with a shit ton of heroin. I'm just nodding out, not paying attention. It's insane how boring this show is. It's Halo, right? Why is the show boring? And I think that's another good question. Like, why is this show boring? Uh, I think it's coupled with a lot of things. We have a lot of bad characters and bad dialogue, and well, coupled with like not so good acting, and that's like a good position to put your like viewers to sleep. Honestly, like every it's not even like bad dialogue. So if you've seen Batwoman, Batwoman has like cringy dialogue lines, right? But the absurdity of like what happens in that show makes it hilarious to watch. Even though we all like almost like The Room. If you've seen The Room is an awful movie, but it's agreed upon that it's hilarious just because of the way it was shot and made. This show is completely different in that aspect. It's all of those things, but boring. So we get boring shots, we get boring characters that have really nothing to say. They all have cringe, just bad dialogue, and it really it's more frustrating than it is funny. Like when you're watching it, and it's a I can't even like trying to express how I like really feel about the show. It is bad. It is dog shit, and it's squandered potential because there's so many ideas, um, and fan theories and stuff like that, and the books of Halo. They could have just adapted the first game front into the show, and people wouldn't have had a problem with that at all. I don't think, because people like the first game, right? People love the first game. Why not just adapt that story? Is obviously the medium of a game is different than of a film or a show, but they could. It's been done before. People have adapted games much better um, into at least like the storylines. They could have like added their own stuff if they wanted to do that, and but like hopefully make it like better. I don't know. It this the whole Halo show experience has just been mind-bogglingly, frustratingly boring, and it really is like a tell of like the times of like all these boring shows that really don't do anything. They don't say anything. If you catch my drift, like deeper meanings behind like why this show is created. Obviously, this show is created for money, strictly for money. I very maliciously to like get Halo fans to watch the show and give them money. And it's that's also absurd because the show was greenlit for season 2 before it even like came out. It is ridiculous. Um. Oh yeah, the world building in this show is fucking awful. We see like 3 planets. We see the terrible Madrigal, the Madrigal plot, the Reach, and then the last planet. I guess we see 4. I don't count the like Thieves Guild planet as a real planet. It's like just a coalition of like criminals. It doesn't really matter. Um, Then we see the last planet. You know what it's called, whatever. The Covenant planet. And that's all we get in this 9 episode show with like 40 minutes to each episode. Awful world building. Not to mention oh yeah, this is another great point. For like a show about like combat and like space warfare, there's none of that. We get 2 episodes of that. We get the first episode where people get blown up, which is probably what like that's they like front loaded all like the cool shit for the first episode to attract people, and then the rest of the show is just awful politicking and people talking with boring dialogue and just everything again puts you to sleep. Uh, Again, very malicious, very deliberate in what the show is trying to do and trying to trick you into watching it. It's just horrible. And mind you, some of the like the fighting and the shooting and the like the blowing people up and like bodies being ripped apart. Some of that was pretty cool. Even though the CGI, especially in the first episode, it wasn't like great. Some of it was passable. It was passable enough to like watch it and be like, this is okay. And then just none of that returns for the rest of the series. It's awful. I hated it all. I hated that John is taking his helmet off 24/7. He's basically never Master Chief in the whole show. Um, Even though he is like the main character, even though he's not even really like the main character in the games, it's more about like the story, not about Master Chief specifically. But this show is. I guess that pissed me off anyway. Even though I'm not huge deep into the, like Halo lore, but I know that, and I could see that when I'm watching this show, and it's not good the way they execute it. It just makes me more and more mad. I'm just more frustrated every time. I'm watching it, and I can't take it. It's upsetting. Uh, all right. I think I've made myself clear. If you haven't seen the show, don't even take a look at it. Don't waste your time. Don't. It's about 8 hours of just dog shit. Don't even waste your time. You'll be happier if you don't watch it. All right. And okay, I think that's it. I'm done. I'm done talking about it. This is it. This is over. Fuck this show. I'm sorry to all Halo fans. You had to go through this. And okay, that's it. Peace out.